We're back for round 2. My opponent has won the die roll, chose to play first, and has already mulliganed. My hand is okay, and I will keep it. So my opponent kept a 6. He kept 1 and sent 1 down. It's an interesting question. Do I want... I think I'll pop the Traverse Element, and if I have to discard a land, I have to discard a land. We'll see what I draw next turn, however. Well, that's quite unfortunate. At least now I can hopefully dig to my Voyage's End or Griptide. Right now, I'm not too particularly interested in the Aqueous form. I will take the Griptide, however. Alright, at least next turn I can present a blocker. We'll be able to see if his last card is a combat trick. Although, I'm guessing if he had a combat trick, he probably would have used it on the Winged Rider already, since it was attacking free and clear. So, my assumption is it was not a combat trick. What it is a different question, obviously.
So I think this next turn I'm going to play the Blood Toll Harpy, as it gives me a way to hold back his forces, just based on what he has going there. At least it gives me more of an option to hold back his forces. And you put both cards on top, which is not exactly what you want to see. I'm still not entirely convinced he has a combat trick as his last card. It looks like it actually was. Well, unfortunately, I think that's probably going to be game. Basically, unless I get Voyage's End on my next card, it's pretty much game. Yep. Nothing I want to be able to do to stop that. So he's just playing a quick heroic deck, so I probably want to see if I can't put anything extra out there. I think actually I'm just going to submit it as it is. I'm pretty okay with that. If I can get another land, I can play Read the Bones. And I don't mind playing out the Eidolon by itself. You put both on the bottom. I just need to really hope to draw a land here. I'm fine with one more swamp, but I don't want another. I just sent it to the bottom by accident. I don't think I want a second Harpy at this point, so I'm going to send that to the bottom as well. I really need to hit an island, is what I need. Unfortunately, this is not looking that great for me at the moment. Alright, that improves things quite a bit. So I have a few options at play here. So I definitely attack with the Elon if he wants to block him. I'm more than okay with that trade.
And then here, I think I'm just going to play the Harpy. I won't block when he attacks, as he probably has a combat trick. Whereas next turn, I will use Voyage's End to block. Or I'll use Voyage's End to save my block if he has a combat trick. Alright, sorry about the wait there. My opponent went very deep into the tank on that one. And so here I'll just very easily pop in my Hippocamp to block. He must have some trick, but he's worried about what I have, so we will see if he has anything to kill my Hippocamp, or that he's willing to expend for that purpose. Alright, another Omen Speaker. One on top and one on bottom. As much as I want to bestow the Emissary, I'm not sure if that's the right choice. I think I'm going to just play it. That way I can leave up Voyage's End as well. Besides, at this point, there's not much I'd want to bestow it on. As if he has any kind of good pump, the race would get really bad for me if I'd bestowed it there. Alright, and here's where I'm going to very obviously void his end. That's definitely not a card I'm interested in right now. With the board state, I think I just want to do Thassa's Bounty at this point. Does make me wish that was a Grip Tide instead of a Voyage's End. Alright, well that's quite powerful. I'll be looking forward to playing that. So Sea God's Revenge is pretty good here. I mean, he gets to draw 2 cards on top of that, which is really obnoxious. And this one card he scryed, he put back on top of his library. So an interesting question here is, am I better off just playing the Abhorrent Overlord anyway and presenting a race situation? However, with that, I'm less inclined to think that's the right choice. I mean, it really depends on what he has in his hand, obviously. I know he has the Wingstead Rider. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to play the Eidolon as well as the Singer, and then, assuming nothing traumatic happens, next turn I will play the Abhorrent Overlord. I think in this position I do want to attack. He knows that I have the Breaching Hippocamp in hand, so I don't think he'll attack. He might attack with just, well, he actually probably won't attack with anything, unless he has more pumps or something in his hand. Fortunately, my opponent's playing something big again, which is not promising for me. Or he's just playing 2 different spells. There's that. So here I'm definitely fine with attacking. If he wants to trade, I'm fine with that. He doesn't know that I'm about to play the Inherent Overlord to really put a crimp on in what he's doing. At least that's the hope from my side. And I imagine at this point it'll be much more difficult for him to pull off a win. Though if he has like God's willing, he could push through. I don't know if he'd be able to push through enough damage. Interesting that he decided he didn't want to bestow that. And since I just do the rescue from the underworld, I'm actually perfectly fine if he wants to use something to kill my Overlord. But I'm guessing whatever it would have to be. It's unlikely that it'll be enough to not, or to save his Wing Rider. So it might seem a little bit odd, but I'm actually going to sacrifice my Breaching Hippocamp here, in that I can then use Rescue from the Underworld to sacrifice the Abhorrent Overload to replay it, and I need a target in my graveyard for that to be a possible play. And then here I will gladly play my Disciple to see the last of his hand. And there we go. So we're on to game 3. So I saw a little more of his deck there. I'm not a big fan of the fact that he has so many Wingstead Riders, but I'm not sure what else I can do. Yeah, so I think at this point, I'm probably going to keep my deck the same. It's possible I want the Mnemonic Wall, but even then I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it as it is. He has chosen to play first, and this is a perfectly respectable hand, so we will see how this goes. Hopefully he doesn't have a Wingstead Rider with into a bunch of abilities right off the bat. I'll definitely keep that. I don't have the mana for it, but it is an extremely powerful card. And here, I think I'm actually fine not playing the Eidolon. I have a third turn play, so I'm not as concerned about getting some board presence going. Unfortunately, I had a feeling he had another one of those. I will, however, force him to have an ability for it, and we will see if he does. So that tells me he doesn't. At least I assume he doesn't at that point. So here I have a few options. I could save the Breaching Hippocamp, or I could just prepare to void his end. He's putting a lot of pressure on the board, and I am short on mana at the moment, so I think I'm going to cast my Eidolon, especially if that gives me another point for the Grey Merchant. And he has nothing. I don't believe I want to use my Voyages in there. He is unfortunately up to 6 mana, which means this could be Sea God's Revenge, unfortunately, or something like that. That's not the worst thing in the world to pop up, although it is a lot of tokens. So here I'm going to play the Breaching Hippocamp. He has only 2 cards in hand. And the thing is, at this point, I really want to hit another land. So it's possible that during my upkeep, I'm actually going to Voyage's End away a token. But I know he has a lot of things he can pump with, so I don't think I actually want to do that. I would just really like to have 5 mana available. And I hit a land, luckily. So here I can either play the Minotaur or the Grey Merchant. Next turn, if he swings with everything, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it doesn't even kill me, and I can void his in something. So I think here I definitely just want to play the Minotaur. And then that leaves up Void his End, as well as giving me 1 more point for my Grey Merchant. So he can attack here and get in with some damage, but he loses a bunch of creatures. I'm not sure if how likely he is to do it at this point. Alright. Well, we will see what he has going on. I do lose essentially 2 symbols for Grey Merchant. However, I'm also preventing 2 damage there. Yeah, so we'll see if he has anything going on here. So that really hurts because of the flying on it, so I'm definitely going to Voyages in his rider back at this point. I do have to send that back. I can't afford to draw dead like that at the moment. Oh, and I clicked the wrong button. That was not very smart of me. At least at this point, he's unlikely to send in all of those tokens. And I just need to hope to hit 2 lands in a row, and then I might have a chance of coming out of this. Unless he has another Sea God's Revenge, in which case I'm just dead anyway. He'd also be bestowing his Pegasus. Yeah, there we go. Which is really unfortunate because that means he gets to draw a bunch of lands as well. So here, I think really the only play that's even justifiable is to use Rescue from the Underworld to pull back in, to pull out my flyer, as well as sacrificing the Grey Merchant. And then just hoping that I draw a land next turn so I can drop the Horizon Scholar and actually have a blocker big enough for that. Even though he can kill me this turn if he attacks with everything. We'll see if he does that. Well, that's game. See you in round 3.